come to call to order here, could we, Brother Melton, could you, do invocation for us, please?
Okay. Precious Father, we come to you this evening, this afternoon, just to say thank you. Thank you, Lord God, that we're alive and know that we're alive. We ask, Lord God, that you would bless each and every individual that's around this table, not only the president, but bless their families as well. Lord, we had a great year in the year of 2024, and we're looking forward to an extremely great year in the year of 2025. Again, we ask all these blessings in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Melton. All right, could we get a approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this is a Public Work Committee meeting here. We're gonna dive into it, start with the new business.
See if we have any public comments.
Yeah.
Do we have any public comments? First one, authorize submittal of application to the Community Water Enrichment Funds, CWF, on behalf of the Mineral Spring Water System. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Sure. Every year the state offers through the Office of Community Development funding that's appropriated by the legislature specifically for this one and the one we're going to talk about after this. So the Community Water Enrichment Fund, or CWIF, is pretty much dedicated to water and sewer improvements. Those are really the only kind that you can ask for, and it's available to any public entity in the parish. Each parish is actually allocated a certain amount of money, and it depends on how many requests they get, how much you get. So I mean, you can go in specifying you need this much for your project, but you really don't know how much you're going to get until it's awarded. And so Mineral Springs Water System has a project that has to do with their ground tank needing some improvements, and so we would recommend that that application be authorized. All this has to flow through the jury, even though it's going to different agencies.
Do we know how much this is in the cap on that?
I'm not sure how much they put in the allocated in the fund this year. It could be it's usually around $100,000, but that depends if you have other water systems or other communities applying. That dilutes how much you might get.
Could we get a,
I'll make that motion. Second.
all right, so moved. Could we get a vote?
Aye.
Any opposed? Go to two.
Okay, this is kind of a sister program to the CWIF. It's Louisiana Local Government Assistance Program. It's another pot of money that you can use for non-water sewer type projects. It's really open to anything, and we have done multiple projects through the years. We've done RV park improvements, we've done drainage projects. I mean, just a whole gambit. And so this year, what we're recommending, we've been talking about the exhibition center quite a bit, and I know they would like to do some improvements out there. One thing that we're asking for in this grant, and we may ask for more, but what we're really going after are some more fans. They need about 4 more of those really big fans out there, especially in the warm-up area. You're talking probably about $40,000. How much were those? Yeah. That's a reasonable ask, okay? And that's why we're doing that. They may throw in some more money. You don't ever know. So would recommend that we authorize this submittal of that application.
I'll make that motion.
Before we do, how much are we actually asking for? As far as
It'll be for the cost of the fans, about $56,000
total, and approximately anyway.
approximately.
Okay, good enough.
So we said about 4 of them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a
Could we get a-
really big one. I'll make that motion.
I think they call them big behinds or something.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify exactly what they were called.
So you got a motion in a second. We need a second.
Sunday school teachers keep it clean.
Yes, sir.
Could we get a move on this?
You got a motion. We need a second.
All in favor?
Who made the second?
Okay,
I did.
Okay.
I'll just vote on it.
Aye.
Any opposed? Third item, authorize change order for Chandler Road overlay project.
Okay, this was in our CIP for 2024, the overlay of Chandler Road. And as with any contract, you estimate the quantities. And until you get in there and actually complete the project, you know, there may be intersections where you use a little more here and there. So it wound up being, if there's a copy of the change order in your packet. It was about 3,000 yards that went over on this contract. Even though it increased the contract slightly, it's still under what we had budgeted for last year, so we'd recommend that this change order be approved.
You get a vote on?
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Did we get a,
Aye.
opposed? Next order of business, discuss and take action necessary to submit a federal appropriation request for transportation improvement.
Okay, we have, you know, been meeting with some of our federal delegation. You've been hearing the story all year, you know, bring us your projects because we got money to give you. And so we've never really had any asks on the federal level that we've really wanted to go after. So with the kickoff of the transportation long-term planning, we've talked about several different kind of projects. And one that we've identified is something that we can work with the city of Ruston on is the Rough Edge Road interchange. Mr. Mike Causey, who with HGA, who's kind of heading up the transportation segment of our long-range plan is here. Do you want to kind of speak on that just for a little bit?
Yeah, just the thought was, with that funding request that they had, they said, you know, as Corey said, send us your request. So we put together some thoughts around how we could formulate that. Without the transportation plan fully complete, we really don't have all of those priorities identified yet. But we don't want to wait because it's going to take us, you know, through 2025 to get the plan done. So we just thought, let's put a couple of projects on the table. One being the Rough Edge Road, and to supplement, I think the city has two earmarks for them for that, but it doesn't anywhere come near funding the whole project. So asked to supplement that, and then another ask to look at a truck route on the south side of the parish and start that study. Start saying, is it feasible? So working through the project process that the DOTD has, there's several steps you gotta go through, and this would just kind of kick start that. And have you talked about the amount?
No, we haven't thrown anything out there yet.
Okay. So just, you know, with that, like the city, their requests have been funded, and of course, they've invested in some front end before they made their request. They'd already made some investments, so there's a 25% match that they asked for the entity asking to supplement this funding request.
Okay, just to kind of give you some visuals here. This is the Rough Edge Road, and the city is already pursuing putting another break in the interstate there, an interchange. Okay, so that's going to be, you know, Tar Button's done. Now they're moving to Rough Edge Road, and you can see this line right here is the city limits, and here's I-20. So, you know, part of that project will actually, you know, will be in the parish. The city's already kind of making their ask for this, so you know, we're going to partner with them and go in our ask for, you know, this piece right here, and that actually, what's contemplated here is actually coming down off Rough Edge Road, going down maybe Sizemore Road. You can see the airport's down here, so that's kind of how we're trying to sell it. You know, access to the airport, and then access down to 146, which is going to be the south loop of the truck route. You know, when you have big projects like this where you have transportation, you know, aviation, interstate collaboration between entities, it makes your ask a lot better. It gives it a lot more bite. So, you know, trying to get something in, because the earmark requests are due in February, I believe.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, it is, you know, that's really what we could come up with on the short notice. So the cost could be $5 to $7 million, okay? 25% of that would be a match that would have to be made by the police jury. But, you know, you put a little skin in the game, but you get a big payout, you know, for doing it.
If I could, just add that the study and the process of working through that takes 3 or 4 years.
Oh, this'll be, yeah.
Just this front end.
So we wouldn't have to
I mean, you don't have to come up with the money up front. It's gonna be over.
It'll be over a 3 to 4 year period, yeah.
And And it takes several years to get through that process.
Yeah, which we've,
How does that fit, this part here with the overall plan? Just for, in my mind, I'm just trying to, we subdividing this to fit with the overall transportation plan, right?
We believe it will.
So,
Now-
so I just wanna know how it fit with it when we get to that point 2 or 3 years. I'm
Right.
asking.
Right. I mean, we believe that an interchange there would be critical to a route, for a truck route. But
Okay.
then also, just giving access to the airport from right there would be pretty critical. You know, until we complete the study, we can't answer that fully, but I believe that that'll be a strong component of what the transportation plan will come up with. But again, I can't say that for sure, because we haven't completed it.
Yeah.
But there's a request to give them an ask now, and I didn't want to, I don't think, that's my opinion, we need to put some on the table and see if it'll go, if
I agree.
the police jury is willing to support that.
Well, what about, will it tie into that long scrub road?
that'll all be contemplated as part of this project. Improvements all the way down through there, yeah.
Kill it.
Mhm.
Connect down
Cool.
to Tennessee.
Mhm.
And I would just say, from an economic development standpoint, that there's a
Right.
lot of land in that area that's open.
It is.
You know, so we're talking industrial parks,
Right.
private site-ready
Right.
projects, and having, you got the rail coming through right there. You know, I mean,
That's about all you have right now.
that's right.
To be honest
And
with
so you've got a lot of open,
you. Yes.
developable
Yeah.
land,
Mhm.
in that area, which I think was part of some of the decision-making on some of that.
Right, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but most of this money is gonna be, for planning and environmental upfront.
It'll be upfront feasibility study, planning,
Feasibility studies,
environmental.
yeah, you're probably looking 5 to 7 years before you would even
Seeing the work?
see the project start.
Oh, yeah.
Could we get a vote on this? Any other question? You got a question?
We're ready for a motion?
You
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah, you're recommending or giving authorization for us to take whatever action that we need to get this appropriation request submitted.
I make
Second.
that motion.
Second.
Okay. Get a vote?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're down to 5 now. Purchase of, authorized equipment purchase in accordance with the state law. All right.
Yeah, and unless you have an objection, we can take all these at one time.
Okay, we got 12, 14-yard dump truck, shoulder paver, pavement laid down machine.
Yeah, and so these are all put in the budget. So there's funding available for this.
So what's wrong with the ones we have?
Okay, well, Tom,
What's-
Oh, well, they're
to start with the dump truck.
they're like 2011s, at this point, we're just about spending more on what the truck's worth, keep running every year.
A lot of costs.
We rotate out our
Spend a lot of
dump
money on
trucks.
repair.
Yes, sir.
I make
It's
that
the
motion.
same way with the shovel, the shoulder paver?
No,
The shoulder paver is something new for us it'll help us more efficiently rebuild our shoulders. Say like, we got a road that, say the grass is approached and has much traffic, we can go in and peel that back, dig a small footing, and we can, lay a smooth hot mix. And we're gonna surgery on it and widen the road back
Yeah,
out.
'cause there's a lot of
So
roads
the
in my
shoulder-
district,
the shoulder paver is
needs
new.
gone.
So this something new when we get here, so
It
this gonna
is.
help us.
yeah,
Now,
and
the pavement laydown machine, is that new?
Yes, sir.
So these are
something
two new.
we're
Right.
specific on
Okay.
do.
Roughly, how many miles on the yard, them dump trucks, right? You say, those dump trucks, how many miles?
Oh, easily over 150,000, but it's,
A lot of repairs.
that'll go over. Definitely
Okay.
really,
Okay.
our problem with, we don't get the mileage on them, just hour.
yeah, another good thing about the shoulder paver, most of our roads are 20 feet wide. One thing that we've talked about is expanding the width of our roads to 22 feet, which would be adding a foot on either side. Well, this would make that possible. We actually looked at that on a project where we were gonna do an overlay, and I can't remember where it was. Anyway, it was gonna be so expensive for the contractor to come in and put, a foot of hot mix base on either side. Yeah, it was Works Road. That we had to kind of scrap it. But if we're doing it ourselves, we we can begin the process when it's still a chip seal road, which it'll be a lot less expensive, but now you've got that base established that you can go back on and put the hot mix over. So it's gonna be very beneficial.
Yeah, I think safety wise, I mean, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but like, when I'm driving down our roads, really the only degradation that I ever see is right there at the shoulder. Yeah, and
That's gonna help us out a lot.
I think, you know, that's where the water problems are right there, because you've lost your drainage right there at the edge. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I would just think too, I mean, as far as safety, folks driving.
Here's a picture of the brochure, if anybody wants to look at it. It's just a little attachment that you put on a
Oh, for a
skid
skid
steer.
steer, okay, so
Yeah.
it's affordable, that's
I don't
great.
know
Yeah,
if
it's about
y'all
$80 $80,000.
They had it, that they spread their hot mix with, in the woods, they try to spread their hot mix. It's something similar to, you know, to that.
Y'all take a motor grader, prep it, and then run run the dump truck onto that.
Could we move on 5,
Well, we can do all of them at one time. if you want
6
to.
too?
Yeah.
Um,
No, I'm sorry. All the equipment.
I make a motion to authorize equipment purchases.
Okay,
Dan's got a second.
second, okay, could we vote on it?
Uh,
Any opposed? So
Mr.
move,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
can you speak to the laydown machine as well? That's like, or is that for like transitions, or what's kind of what'll be the?
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, the hot mix that we're using now is so dry, it's nothing but rock, and it's so hard to spread it with a motor grader to make it stick. We're thinking with this machine that we will be able to put tack down and make it smoother and make it last longer.
These are mostly for repairs, or are we?
For repairs and cross drains and bridges when we tear out.
Okay,
stuff
gotcha.
like
So
that.
we're not thinking about getting into the,
Overlay business?
Overlay
No,
business,
No,
but
this
just-
is, this is,
Okay.
they're very small projects.
yeah,
Yeah, short ones.
We
Okay.
might could do a small parking lot or something like that.
Okay.
With this, but what Brad's saying is, you know, they call it a smoke over.
Right.
You know, where you basically dump it and push it down with a
With a
grader.
Okay.
And, you know, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
You know, now, we'll be able to go in and cut out a section
And lay it down.
and lay it down. So,
Okay.
I know you've seen the roads where they got a big dip.
Oh, yeah.
And we can come there with that machine and make it just as smooth. like-
fill it up back to,
Cool. That's exciting.
yeah.
Alright, we voted on that?
We already voted.
We have.
Okay. We're at 6 now, consider and take action necessary proof of preliminary plat for Oak Tree Road, Unit Subdivision 1.
Okay, are you gonna put the plat up? I think you had a plat in your packet too. We've got Neil DeForest, who is the engineer on this. Neil, is there anything you wanna tell us? Tell us where it is and how many lots.
It's right off of 820. It's northeast area. The guys purchased, 60, probably 80 acres of land out there, and it's on 2 different sides of the road. We've got a big block that's on one side of the road that he's gonna do something with in the future. And then on this side of the road, he wants to go ahead and do 7 houses on these 7 lots. And we went ahead, we had one left over, that's like the remainder piece, if you can see on that western portion of the plat. That one is gonna be,
No,
Show us the plat.
he's gonna try to pull it up.
See, we got it, but it's so small.
Well, the ones who got theirs electronically didn't get it for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Look how small.
So that is, so we run
See, right
so we have this large piece, that'll be the future. We've got these 7 here, and then this is a piece that he'll do something with later. There's some existing houses on that corner. I don't know if everybody can see, but there's some existing houses on that corner that aren't included in this land. These will just be along with existing road frontage.
Acre and a half or something?
Be an acre and a half. There'll be individual sewer treatment on these. And there's water lines already out there. I met with the water system and they've got capacity to supply that. So we just need you guys to review it.
No new means of access,
No
which
new
makes it
roads.
real easy.
Right, no new roads or road frontages created in this portion. I expect there will be in the future portions that we bring back to y'all, but not in these.
Who's the
7.
developer?
Andrew Robertson.
He does a bunch of.
I think it may be listed as All Builders, and
We
they're
got
on,
the slide up now, if you want.
Burgessville is where
Yes,
their
yes.
office is.
It is. Cabinet maker.
One of,
They do a lot of cabinets.
his brother does the cabinet.
Well, he used to be right there by Ruston High School.
Sure did.
Remember? And when
Right
the
up on the
tornado
hill, top of the
came
hill.
through,
It is.
sort of relocated. That's a side note.
This parcel right here, that's highlighted, over on Oak Tree Road, you can kind of see it, is this parcel right here. So they're breaking up, the main stuff they're gonna be using are these 7 plots right here, 7 squares. Future development,
Well, what they asking us to do?
Well, this is what's called a preliminary plat. They have to submit a preliminary plat, which gives them, kind of the go-ahead to begin development of the subdivision. There's not gonna be a lot here because there's not a lot of infrastructure going in, but, you'll have to get signatures and, approval from, the health, sanitarian and some other things like that, and he'll bring that back, and then we'll come back probably next month even. It could be that quick turnaround on this one to approve the final. That's what our ordinance says. You have to submit a preliminary for approval, and then, they have, so many days to come back and submit the final for approval. So this one is so easy, because there's no new roads, there's no infrastructure that needs to go in.
So they doing everything.
Just a question, Courtney, and nothing to do with development, like these lots, these houses they put in, so they put in a culvert, the new things we put in, that has to go through us on that kind of
Yes.
stuff, right?
Right.
Oh,
So the
okay.
culvert's road frontage drainage, it's flat.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Get approval?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just curious if that, this
Do we have-
went to that or not.
Do we have any other business? Any public comment? Any comment? Public Works Committee is over.
Yes.
will do. Bow your heads with me, please. Lord, we love you and we praise you. We thank you tonight for this time and this opportunity, Lord, to make decisions that better our parish. Lord, we ask that you would give us wisdom as we do so. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Right, can we get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. All right. Do you have any public comments on agenda items? All right, no public comments. Any new business? We'll go into number 1. Discuss and take action if necessary. Acceptance of proposal of Kessler Consulting and Comprehensive Solid Waste Master Plan. Courtney, would you like to give us kind of a brief on this before they get started?
Sure. You know, this goes back to when you decided that you wanted to do a comprehensive master plan. So there were different, segments of that. Transportation, solid waste were 2 that you wanted to focus on. We've already kind of kicked off the transportation deal, and taken some steps as we did in the previous committee meeting. So this is the other piece, the solid waste piece. And so we have found Hunt Geo has helped us find, somebody who is very proficient, experts in the field. It's Mr. Mitch Kessler shared with us tonight. He is the principal with that organization. I don't know if is Bethany going to join you tonight, Mitch? Or?
Hold on, Mitch, real quick.
Okay. But you all had a copy of the proposal in your packet, so what we're looking at is basically from A to Z. Like we want somebody from outside, an expert, to look at this thing and tell us, how they think we can do it better. Give us several options, and then kind of walk us through how the implementation and the costs. And so you had a copy of that. I hope you had a time to review it. But Mr. Kessler tonight is going to kind of run through it real quick on the surface level, and then answer any questions that you might have. So Mitch, you're ready to go.
Can you turn it up?
Mitch, give us a second, you're not coming through on audio.
We're having trouble hearing you. Hold on.
Try, could you just test it real quick, Mitch?
I can hear you all fine.
All right, you're good now.
Okay, very good. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for the time tonight. I apologize, I ended up with pneumonia over the holidays and started my new year in bed with 103 fever. I'm just kind of getting over that now, so I don't sound as good as usual. But first thing I really want to do is thank Logan and Courtney and Kevin and the staff there. We've had probably at least half a dozen phone calls. Everybody's been very helpful and accommodating to pull together the information and the objectives you're trying to accomplish. So thank you for that. I'll be brief about the company. My company is Kessler Consulting. It was founded in 1988. The only work we do is in solid waste planning and implementation. That's all we do. That's what we specialize in. We have done master plans for now 3.5 decades for communities. Probably most importantly, the only work we do is for governments and nonprofits. So we don't work for the hauling companies because that sets up potentially somewhat of a conflict in our opinion. So we really focus on the design, implementation of solid waste programs for governments. We focus on the Southeast. Our main office is in Tampa, Florida. We have offices in Alabama and North Carolina. So we do a lot in the Southeast, but we also work nationally throughout the country. Excuse me. So in the meetings we've had with Logan and Courtney, Kevin, and the team there, we've kind of got a pretty good feel of what we think you're looking to do, and we laid that out in this master plan. And that's what we're trying to help with. And that plan has certain sections to it. I'll just mention them briefly so you get a feel of how comprehensive we're looking to do this. This is one of these things you do every maybe 20 years or so. You come up with a plan that works for the community. The first thing we'll do is review and do an analysis of your existing program, which I will tell you is a little unique, and there's tremendous amount of effort and service being provided by staff there through all these various drop locations that you have throughout the parish. The second piece that we'll start on, once we have that information, is what we call stakeholder engagement. We think it's critically important to get the entire community involved in what this is gonna look like, what the important drivers are for them in these situations. So it's meeting with people, talking with people, making sure we're reaching out in all the means that you have available in the parish. Next, we would look at the level of service you're providing and do an operational analysis. We'll have our solid waste people who have run operations for both the public sector and private sector, see what suggestions we could come up with to be more effective and more efficient in the program. That will lead into a financial analysis of what's occurring. And then the last thing we'll really do is we'll develop scenarios and options that are practical choices based on the work we've done, the feedback from you all in the room, and the feedback from the stakeholders in the community on what's important and what's not important in the solid waste area. When I'm talking the solid waste area, I'm not talking about the disposal, the collection and disposal of the garbage, but also looking at recycling, which is one of the things that came up as, you know, the community wants to look a little bit more at. Those scenario options would be presented to the stakeholders, yourselves, and then we would incorporate whatever you prioritize into a comprehensive plan that you could then move forward and implement. So that's a big picture of you. I'm happy to answer any questions about the company or anything that we proposed here, and we look forward to the opportunity to help you.
I have a question. So, when you start implementing and started getting input, from basically local citizens, is my understanding, what you will try to do.
Yes.
Have we, what type of avenue will we use to reach out to the people of the parish for their input?
Well, we would suggest that we use every means possible. We believe it should be a very comprehensive stakeholder engagement. So it's the newspaper, it's getting some articles in the paper, it's getting interviews of the decision makers in the community in the newspaper, it's setting up a public meeting, it's whatever you put on a website. It's any way we could reach out to people and then have a meeting or multiple meetings that people could attend and come and ask questions, so they feeling appreciated and valued of what's occurred. And that they know that they're having input into that process. And the goal is to do the most effective and efficient thing for the community.
Thank you.
So every possible means we could think of, and we've done all kinds of things. Some people are more interested in being computer-based, want to do surveys, and want to be able to have access to that. But what we found is you have to do everything. You reach people through the libraries, you reach people through the press, you reach people through the news, you reach people through advertising and meeting, and sitting down and listening to them.
Question number 2, on this study, how often will you or some member of your staff be present, be on, basically in the parish here?
We would be there quite a bit, because the stakeholder engagement is, we see that as we're responsible for driving and facilitating that, with whoever on staff is also appropriate to partake and lead that with us. But we'd be bringing the solid waste expertise to that. So every aspect, the only time we probably would not be on the site is in the beginning, the gathering the data and information. We would just gather that remotely, have it, review it, then come up, sit down, have, excuse me, I apologize, a stakeholder meeting. So people right away in the beginning are getting buy-in. Then when we're doing the operational analysis, myself and my folks will be there working with the drivers and the drop-off centers to understand more of what's happening there and help you develop a plan of how to make those, we think, more effective and efficient. So we'd be very hands-on. And then when we go away, we do the scenario analysis, and we come back and we work again and present the findings of that, and then present the plan to the public. We see it as a partnership between the elected officials, staff, us as the consultant, and the community. And everybody has a role and responsibility. The one objective is what's the most effective and efficient system for the community going forward.
What kind of timeline from start to presenting a plan for us to look at, would it be, looking at, I guess?
Yeah, that's a great question, but we put an estimate of that in our proposal, which is 12 months. What we found is when you reach out and have community meetings and, do the analysis and operational work, that's about how long it takes. Could it be more because you decide there's more stakeholder meetings or, more scenarios you want options on? Yes. Could it be quicker? Yes. So, but I'd estimate about 12 months is what it's gonna take.
So Courtney, just to clarify, what we're doing tonight is just to approval for them to move forward with this plan to try to get this data together and have the meetings together.
Yes, you're actually going to be engaging or accepting their proposal
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you've got.
That's right, okay.
in your
I just
packet.
wanna make sure we.
So have they been here and like looked at our, kind of what we're doing at all, or is this just kind of like a?
No, we've had some preliminary conversations, and they've asked some really good questions, about, how we operate now.
They've seen maps and
Yeah, but
pictures.
there's
Yeah.
maps and stuff.
And it's not new to them. They've seen it in other places, since that's kind of their specialty niche. So I feel very comfortable recommending that we, accept this proposal.
Any more questions while we got him connected?
Do we want, you wanna mention, or Mitch, let Mitch speak to the, potential partnership with the recycling, the grant?
Yeah, you could just mention, we have time, so.
They secured a grant, or
Talking
can secure a
about
grant
the,
for us.
the composition study and how we got funded through that.
Sure. One of the first things that we usually do in a master plan is what we would call a composition study. And since you don't have segregated recycling in the parish, everything you have is really waste. So this is just a waste composition study, but the purpose of that is to create data and information on what makes up your waste stream. So there's X amount of cardboard, there's X amount of newspaper, there's X amount of tin cans, there's X amount of plastic bottles. And that gives you insight into what you could potentially recover and hopefully generate some revenue to offset the cost. Some recyclables have a fair amount of value, like an aluminum can, and others, like a glass bottle, financially are not very viable to recover. They actually cost to recover. So what this study would be doing is we're trying to get the Recycling Partnership, which is a national group that's sponsored by people like Pepsi and Coca-Cola and Walmart, who want to see increased recovery of their products out of the waste stream. And we're trying to get them to fund that. They're reviewing that now as we speak. They've given us, we've had a meeting with staff with them, and their indication is pretty positive that they would actually contribute and pay for that, or at least a good component of that. And then that would be one of the first things we would do, but it would be at no cost to the parish.
That's pretty good.
And I wish I had to convince them, and I think your folks have done a really good job of letting them know that you're here to help them, and that you have an interest in trying to change your program. Their sponsors care about getting some of the cans and bottles and plastic out of the waste stream. So that's why they have an interest in the parish program. We've also done other work in Louisiana. There's a city to the south of New Orleans, and we've done a few projects for them. One of them was a very large composition study with the partnership. And that's one of the reasons the partnership's interested, is they feel that it's an underserved area. So we should know about that. I'm hoping, we have a call with them Thursday. I hope they could finalize and approve that. And we could begin to move forward with that. So that's what the Recycling Partnership, which is a national organization, that's the grant that Courtney is referring to.
Anything else?
I'll make that motion.
A motion and a second. No more questions. Can we get a vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Mr. Mitch, I'd just like to appreciate you for getting in with us tonight and answering those questions and kind of giving us a brief view of it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate your confidence in us, and I think, we've spoken to some of our references that were our goals to do you proud and help the community move forward with the objectives they want to accomplish. We look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Us too.
Bye.
All right, next item is authorized equipment purchase in accordance with state law. Boom collection truck, 24 8-yard dumpsters, tractor and a bush hog, and a skid steer loader.
Yes, sir. Once again, these are things that, you know, as we were doing department head budget reviews, they indicated that these are their needs. A boom truck here, you want to speak to why you need to replace one?
Yeah, we only have 4, and the oldest one used to be a backup. It's like 10 years old now, and need her being replaced. Then that would be kept, we'll have a backup. Right now, we run 4, we have 4, no backup.
Okay, so we can still keep that one for the backup.
You'd rotate one out.
Yeah, yeah.
New backup.
Okay.
And then as far as the dumpsters, I mean, you know, that's something we have to do every year anyway, because they wear out. And, you know, we have quite a few, and so we're only replacing 24 a year.
Yeah.
Which is not many. And then the tractor and bush hog is used around the landfill itself, because there is, you know, believe it or not, a lot of mowing that needs to be done around that area.
Constantly, every day.
Yeah, and the one you've got is how old? I mean, it's
About that old, also 10 years.
10 years, yeah, so. And the skid steer loader, it would be used, in our new pit burner. I mean, it's got to be cleaned out, so you have to have
Oh, yeah.
a machine that can get in there and scoop out the ash. So that's what that would be for.
Yes.
Question, how expensive are those dumpsters? $1,000 a piece.
All right, can we get a motion for the purchases?
Make that motion.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any other business? Any public comments? Meeting adjourned.
Courtney, I got a question on our trash. So like I mean, you just not.
We call to order the regular scheduled police jury meeting on this Tuesday, January the 14th, at our new time of 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. I'd like to ask Miss Karen Lovey if she'll lead us on an invocation and pledge allegiance, please.
Oh, Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you once again for this day and this hour, Father God. Lord, we ask you right now to bless those that are here in this building. Lord, we ask you right now that this meeting will be what you would have it to be. And Lord, that we will leave here on one accord, Father God. And that we ask that you will give us traveling grace and mercy as we get to our destination. These and many blessings I ask you, darling Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second. Motion is made and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any public comments on the agenda items? I hear no one speaking up, so we'll move on to the minutes of a prior meeting. If I can have a motion to accept those meetings of our December the 10th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving to our committee reports. So, Big Coach, Public Works Committee.
First one is authorize submittal of application to Community Water Enrichment Fund on behalf of the Mineral Spring Water System. This is water improvement sewage up to $100,000. I think I got it right, Courtney?
Yes.
And, we asking for you to approve this. I'll get a vote.
Do them all and then we'll vote all at one time.
Next, authorize submittal application to local, government assistance program for improvement of North Louisiana Exposition Center. I think we're buying some fans there. You care to elaborate on the fans, I think?
We have fans through part of the building, but not all the building. And the part where we don't have them is, very, very hot in the summer. The ceilings are in that area is kind of low, and it's where the stop stands for rodeos and different things. And we've had, some cattle, the cow out there, a steer die from the heat and different things like that. So, and plus the people who are back there that are working, delivering shavings and things like that, it's just unbearable at times in the summer. So that's why we request, to try to get those.
Thank you.
More.
Thank you. Next one, authorize change order of Channel Road overlay project.
Right, it basically took more material than we had figured in, but that happens in contracts, so it's a material-based change order. Contract is still under what we had budgeted.
Okay. The next one is discuss and take action necessary to submit a federal appropriation request for transportation improvement that's on the Rough Edge Road interchange. And we doing this in addition to our master plan, so we just trying to get ahead of the game with this, okay? Next, authorize equipment purchase order with the state law. We need 12 to 14-yard dump trucks. Our dump trucks just got to the point where they just wore out, 10 years old, so we're trying to replace those. Shoulder paver, this is a new machine that we're getting. I think this go along with the dump truck, so I think it's about $80,000. So we're looking at getting that one. And the pavement lay down machine, this is new too. So B and C are new machines that we got, we think can make our roads quality much better. And 6 would be consider and take action necessary approve for preliminary plat for Oak Tree Road Unit Subdivision 1. And on that one, I think we did the plot on that, right?
Preliminary.
We did the preliminary plan on that, and I think we covered that, right?
You submit that as a form of a motion.
Okay, could I get a motion on that, please?
Second.
Okay, could I get approval?
All in favor?
In favor? Any opposed? So that ends that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Joint Economic Development and Planning Solid Waste and Recycling Committee. So you guys will do that.
At 5:30 today, we had the Solid Waste and Economic Development Committees meet. We had a proposal from Kessler Consulting to discuss a solid waste master plan, and Mr. Kessler came in with a Zoom meeting with us to discuss their plan and the process to get a plan together. We approved for them to move forward with that. We also approved to purchase a boom truck, 24 dumpsters, a tractor and a bush hog, and a skid steer loader for the burner. Present that in form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, thank you, sir. So now we move into election of officers, and we will turn this meeting over to our legal counsel. He will lead us in the election of officers.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, we'll open the floor for nominations for the office of president.
I'll nominate Mr. Scriver for office of president of the police chief.
Any other nominations? Okay, at this time, can I get a motion and a second to close the nomination process?
Motion. Second.
Congratulations, Mr. Scriver, there being no other names brought forward. Next, we'll open the floor for nominations for the office of vice president.
I'll nominate, Greg Williams.
Second.
Make a motion to close it.
Second.
Having been moved and second, there are no other names. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Williams. And finally, we'll now open the floor for nominations for the office of position of administrator.
I'll make a motion that we extend Mr. Courtney Hall for a 2-year time frame on his administrative duties.
Second.
Having been moved and second to extend Mr. Hall, are there any other nominations or? Okay. We have a motion and a second, close nominations for this.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to close the nominations.
Second.
Thank you, congratulations, Mr. Hall. Mr. Scriver?
Thank you, sir. So we'll continue on with our new business. Just a couple of comments before we get into that. We gained a lot of momentum in the year 2024. As we heard some discussion in our committee meetings about some really big things we got going on. We've got a lot of momentum going. Sometimes it's tougher to keep the momentum going than it is to gain momentum. I truly believe that, because you're excited about trying to get new things started, you get new things started, and a lot of times they'll have a tendency to kind of taper off. So my commitment to you is we will keep these things in the forefront. We'll be open, we'll be transparent, and we'll continue on with the direction that we're headed, because I think all the things we're doing is headed us in a very positive direction. So thank you all for putting your trust in me, and I'll pledge to want to do the very best that I can in this position. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
So,
I have something to say.
okay.
Okay. We doing the long range, and that's good. And my peoples are still complaining about this litter. We started the litter talking about getting a, what was it? Litter court. We never did come back to that. It's like that's just blew away.
Well, we kind of segued into a long-term comprehensive plan, which solid waste is part of that.
But still, the litter is still just getting out of hand.
That's the purpose of this.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of this plan.
Yeah, it's the purpose of the plan, but that's up the road. We need something done now.
Right, well, first, we need to get the people to stop throwing trash all over the
But
road.
we're not gonna be able to do that. We have workers hired to pick up litter
That's why we got
too.
a plan that we're working on, that's going to try to develop all this into one deal so we can handle it.
But that's up the road. We need something put in place now.
That's what we're working on.
We're tackling.
There's only so much we can do with the amount of people we have to pick up certain things. Are you more asking like for the legal stuff we talked about? Like
Yeah.
the fines and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know where that goes into.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could potentially review some of that again. I think we had some,
Legal questions that we were gonna push back to the
Amy
SO?
was our, Amy Miller was our counsel back
Yeah,
then.
it's been a year now and
Yeah,
we hadn't
she-
heard anything.
I think she had, some concern as to the justice of the peace.
Enforcing it where she told us the issue was actually going to be,
On
actually
the
enforcement of that.
side. Yeah, but TJ and I were talking about this, earlier, is potentially, even in the system that we have set up right now, potentially if we just, and I think this would address what you're saying, if we readdress the fines, potentially
Yeah.
up in the fines, we can potentially allocate some resources towards education, whether that be,
Right.
social media, press releases in the paper and with the journal and all that stuff, as far as, these are the new fines, this is, help us, and this
Right.
kind of corresponds with the timing wise with that Keep Lincoln Parish Beautiful in April. And so I think, potentially if we start talking about it, I mean, nothing's gonna happen unless we're talking about it. And I think if we all start talking about it, talk about it more, that's something we can do, right? We can talk with our constituents, we can talk loud through our mouthpiece, right? And whether it be social media or whatnot, or the coffee shop, and then just get people really pulled on the same side of the rope on cleaning up the parish. And I mean, it's gonna take. We can't pick up enough. I mean, and I really would like to see this, Courtney. If we could, I know we've increased the litter collection like significantly, right, over the last 3 to 4 years, and I know the sheriff's office has too. So we can quantify that, like in man hours, pounds of trash. But even with all that effort, we're not seeing, and I see it like we're not seeing
But we
a
haven't,
tangible. We're not seeing a tangible effect.
because it hadn't affected anybody out there.
That's right.
It's affected us, it's affected the ones picking up the trash, but it hadn't affected, like we talked about before, all the community service hours behind it. That's what it's gonna take to make people quit throwing it out.
So I think we bring more awareness, right? And I think that's what you're
Yeah,
saying, is bring more
yeah.
awareness. We can do that. We should do that. We look at the fines again. We get people involved in actually picking it up through our deal in April. Get them out there.
Once you're not gonna do it.
That's right.
And you see,
Once a week ain't doing it on some roads.
sit in the court sometime, and they put the peoples on community service, but they give them to the city. That's not helping us in the parish.
What the issue before that Amy's looking into, well, the issue we had discussed was if we just send them down to city court, it's already full and backed up, stopped up, they never make it to court. And we had talked about getting the JPs to do it, and then Amy didn't know if that was capable. Can we get our legal counsel to look into that again for us and see if there's another avenue that we could enforce, without having to, I mean, the city court's already stopped up with as much stuff that they can't get any more through it. If we, right at first, I feel like there could be several fines wrote and community services done. May not,
Probably
but
have to
could
look
be.
into that. I mean, I'm sure there are options such as in district court, misdemeanors, some pay people in lieu of fines, perhaps getting community service, something like that.
But if somebody's in parish court, they don't go, if like Judge Claymont or, any of them, they don't, if they send them to go pick up community service, do trash, they go to the parish and do it. They don't do it in the city, do they?
Yeah, they go to the city, yeah.
But that's city court though.
No, it's the parish court. I sits in the parish court and I hear 'em.
Yeah, put it in with it. I'll see what we can do. And
So you
then
find out if somebody gets sent something in the parish court, is it going to parish or is it going to the city? Because it should be going to the parish because they're two different entities.
Yeah, it's going to the city.
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, I sit there and I hear. I talked to one of the probation officers.
He'll look into it.
He'll find
Okay, but
out.
I talked to
And
one
if
of
it
the
is, then we
probation
can try to get
officers,
that
and she
addressed.
said the same thing. She said they do they send them to the city.
Does the parish already have some sort of pickup program or something of that nature?
The sheriff's department.
We do.
Enforcement
some.
is still gonna come down to how you gonna enforce this.
Yep. I mean, you can educate all you
Yeah,
want.
but we
If
need-
a
but we
dumpster's
need-
full,
we need
it's
to
going on the
start.
ground. So either we gotta put
Well,
twice
we
as
have
many
a
dumpsters
suggestion.
I'm
on.
not around the
On how to
dumpster.
do it.
I'm not talking about around the dumpster.
Yeah,
I'm talking about down the road. There ain't no dumpster.
Really, the most of our trash is in the rural areas.
Yes.
Because in the
No.
cities,
The
what I'm
cities-
saying is, the city, I can only speak for where I live. The city have people picking up trash, and they're picking it up all along the
They do it at Grand Blanc.
right, every day. But mostly the trash, I see a lot of is in the rural areas.
Well, that goes back to, we got 77 dump sites that people are driving their vehicles to, and it's getting blown out of trucks. I mean,
It's a
that-
systems problem.
it's a systems problem, too.
We have a systems
Right.
problem. We've got I think we've got four, litter crews. We have two and the sheriff has two, is that correct? Something like that? Three, we have three and they
We
have
added
two.
a litter crew
We
last
add-
year.
And we
And so,
continue to
like,
have this problem.
But we have
It's
477
not going
miles
away.
of road. And that's two ditches, you know, so that's times two if you think about the ditches on both sides. Whereas the cities don't have that kind of, and typically inside the city, you've got a house every, 150 feet. And so people are keeping up with their own front yard, right? You might have a half a mile or a mile between houses out in the country. I think we all agree we've got a systems problem.
Yeah.
I think we're addressing the systems problem strategically with our,
Suggest and do something about it.
our consultants.
Don't let it die down, do something about
Mr.
it.
Buckley's gonna look into the potential,
How the dumpsters now,
application
since we've been
of the
paying some
enforcement.
attention to this, how's the, I ride some dumpsters, I see it's better, but you see all of them, how's the dumpsters now?
About the same.
Yeah,
About the
I thought it
same.
did.
Pick them up daily.
Yeah, they pick them up daily.
So
It's-
the
not-
dumpster side better, so we just in the ditches.
You know, a lot of blame gets put on the dumpsters, but dumpsters don't have nothing to do with someone stopping at a stop sign and throwing their food bags right outside the door.
Right.
They don't have
Well,
nothing
they
to do
don't
with their
do
cups and
that.
stuff flying out of the truck. Everybody wants to blame the dumpsters, but the people are the problem.
And it's the approach to the dumpsters. You within half a mile on either side of a dumpster.
There's a
It's
trash
trash.
can at every gas station, every car
Yeah.
takes gas. They can throw their stuff in there, but they don't. They throw it in the back of the truck, know it's gonna blow out, they'll stop at a stop sign and throw it out the car.
But I
So,
talked to
until that's
Landon
fixed-
today. Landon said a lot of this trash is blowing out the dump trucks. So they be going down the road and they see trash that's flying out the dump truck, the parish dump truck.
I'm
That's all
sure
of them.
it
That's
probably
city
does.
affairs. I
I
see them
talked
all
to
the time.
Landon told me
Listen,
that.
this is, we do have an issue with, we discuss it on a regular basis. We could sit here and talk the rest of the night about it, there's no doubt about that. I'm not trying to diffuse it at all, because I know that it is an issue with litter. And we've been working on it, we'll continue to work on it. Now, enforcing some of this stuff, it's gonna be a problem because of who's gonna do it, who's writing the tickets, who, when they get to the court. It is going to be a problem, we can't deny that. But keep it in the forefront, yes, we'll absolutely do that. But we're gonna move on to our new business. And item number 7, North Louisiana's Criminalist Laboratory 2024 amended and 2025 proposed budgets.
Okay, basically what this is, there's a North Louisiana Criminalistics Lab. And the statute that organized that, names of, several parishes that, are mandated to approve their, proposed budgets and their amended budgets. There's no control that we have over it. It's a majority rules. I mean, if there's a parish or two that don't approve it, there's like 6 or 7 others, if they do, it passes. So it's more of a formality. But I don't know, James, do you know anything about, there's evidence sent over there by all these parishes that are members, by law of this commission, and they do, most of the forensics and testing and things like that. And they're funded, I guess, through the court systems, by each parish. The police jury puts no money in the game, even though we're approving their budget, so.
They do a lot of everything from drug analysis to DNA evidence to forensics, like you said, ballistics, things of that nature. They do a lot.
Right, they're funded by the individual court systems, not the police jury, but we have to approve their budget.
Okay, any other questions on this? So we need a motion to.
So moved.
Okay, motion
Second.
and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 8, redirect Act 776, appropriation amount of $150,000 and authorize president to execute cooperative endeavor agreement related thereto.
Okay, if you remember, we had some appropriations, direct appropriations that were made during the last legislative session. This particular one, we originally understood that it could be used for planning purposes. And so, I'll let Michael get into it a little bit more, but, when we sent in the application or the paperwork that we had to fill in, they sent it back and said that planning, even for a long-term strategic plan, does not qualify as what they call operations and acquisitions. But we have a workaround, so if you wanna.
Absolutely. So obviously, the state treasurer office wants to see something more tangible done with this money. And so we wanted to meeting the requirements from the state standpoint of what we can use that money for. So we'd still get a reimbursement from the state, it would just be for a different purpose than originally anticipated.
And so that would be reflected in the CEA that we need to get the president authorized to sign and submit, so we can get that money.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Authorized, president to execute CEA for Act 776 appropriation amount of $225,000.
So this is the other appropriation that we got. This has to do, it's very specific with economic development and actually for an industrial development site. Our North Louisiana Economic Partnership people are probably going to determine where that money goes, but the state requires CEAs now for any allocation. So there's nothing like we needed to do on the previous one. This is just a direct execute CEA and get the president to sign.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 10, authorize engagement of Horton Company LLC for federal appropriation request preparation.
Okay, since the committee basically approved submittal of a request for a federal appropriation for the Rough Edge Road interchange, there's some paperwork that needs to be accomplished to get that submitted. It's very specific as to what needs to go in these requests. Laura has got some experience with it. We've also gotten the request that the city sent. Was it on Tarbuck Road? I believe, or maybe it was Kentucky Avenue. That, we're kind of used as a guide. But even though Laura is technically our grant writer, that's really for the LCDBG. If we get outside of that, we need to engage her under a separate contract. So that's who that is, and that's why that is.
Make that motion. Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Resolutions. Item number 11, Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Act compliance.
Right, we do this every year. It's required by the federal government, and it may come into play really for the first time as we move through work on this federal appropriation. Basically, you're providing assurances to the government that if you get any funding on the state or local level, if there's anybody that needs to be displaced, like you need to acquire their property for right-of-way purposes or something like that, you'll go through the procedures, to make it fair as far as appraisals and relocation assistance and things like that. So we do it every year. We've never, to my knowledge, had to activate it, but we're just making it good for 2025.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Item number 12, authorizing submittal of Community Water Enrichment Fund, CWEF, application on behalf of the Mineral Springs Water System.
Okay, we had the committee's recommending approval of this, so the jury has to officially act to authorize it.
Make that motion.
Motion made.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none. Item number 13, authorization submittal of local government assistance program application for improvements at the North Louisiana Exhibition Center.
As what you just did, this is
Fans.
also, this is the fans at the North Louisiana Exhibition Center. It's a different program, but the committee's recommended the approval, so the jury needs to authorize.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Appointments. Item number 14, Water Districts number 1, Mr. Scott.
Okay, yeah, last month we had a committee meeting, and we went through all these. Now, the committee made a recommendation, and that's what we're doing. We're following through on the committee's recommendation. So, the only one that'll be different here tonight is if you'll look at number 16, Mount Olive Waterworks District. If you remember, we had 4 candidates for 3 positions. 1 candidate has dropped out, so it makes it easy to go ahead and fill that in. And then the CVB, which is item number 20, those are the recommendations that come from the CVB.
So we can do all of these is any action required on this?
Oh, yes, we have to
Okay.
do each one.
Got to do each one
separately
individually.
because we'll have to do a resolution for each one.
Okay, so we take each one
at a
in-
time, yeah, but we can roll through them.
Okay, all right, number 14, Water District, number 1, Mr. Scott Futrell.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. 15, Tremont Water District, Mr. John McLean Senior, Mr. Walter McAdoo.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Water Districts, number 2, Miss Lisa Magnum.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mount Olive Water District, Miss Shalina Johnson, Miss Myrtle Douglas, and Mr. Charlie Hudson.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Lincoln Parish Library Board of Control, Miss Stephanie Smith.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Lincoln Parish Fire District number 1, Mr. Anthony Garrison, Mr. Clark Canterbury.
So moved. Second.
Motion made, seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. North Louisiana Exhibition Center Commission, Mr. Patrick Patton.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. Item number 21, Ruston Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ms. Mallory Patterson, Historic Downtown District, Mr. Chris Wyatt, City of Ruston, Mr. Matt Pullen, Lincoln Parish Police Church.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are
Yep,
none.
lot that right there.
Okay, item number 22, on the Travel Police Jury Association of Louisiana Convention is February the 12th through the 14th in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay, you have to authorize travel, for anything that's gonna be reimbursable according to our travel policy. I think, Michael, you wanna tell them what arrangements you've already made and what you need to know?
Absolutely. This year's event will be in Baton Rouge at the, what's the name of that hotel?
Crown Royal?
Crown Royal, that's it.
Not Crown Royal.
Crown something.
Crown Plaza.
Plaza. Yeah, yeah.
Georgetown.
There'll be some Crown Royal at the Crown Plaza.
You already put it on your mind.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, we do need to know as soon as possible. I believe the deadline is forthcoming, it's in the next several weeks, so, those dates will be the, 12th to the 14th of February. So we'll be coming back on Valentine's Day. That may affect some, I don't know.
Not me.
But bottom line, I do need to know who all is gonna be attending, and if there will be a guest that needs to be registered for, and I also need to know, for hotel room purposes. I did book enough hotel rooms for everybody to go, but obviously I need to cancel those if some want to go. So the sooner I can know, the better.
What days of the week is that?
Wednesday, Thursday,
through
and Friday.
I would venture to say be expecting to hear from me sometime next week to follow up. If y'all need to think about whether or not you wanna go and participate, but like I said, the sooner I know, the better. We greatly appreciate it. No, thank you.
Our rooms are booked at the Embassy Suite, which is like 2 doors down.
Yeah, it's within walking distance. Those rooms fill up really quickly. I tried to book back in August and it was already booked. The main hotel was already booked.
Yeah, I think they leak some inside information to certain parishes because,
Yes,
it's
sir.
like the day after.
You don't reckon they're south of I-10?
Yeah, right.
Of course
Anyway,
not.
we need to, motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
What are we waiting for?
Okay, the budget report for Mr. Sutton, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is not much to report. This budget to actual report will be for the last one of 2024, so December, as of December. You won't notice any surprises in there. I did obviously send it earlier today, for your review, but everything is reflective of the amendments that we made last month, so nothing is out of variance or worth notating. The only thing, I guess, of note really, just for your edification, for you new jurors that haven't seen it before, you will notice ad valorem taxes still have not, or still aren't reflecting anything, but the reason is the bills go out late in the year. Well, obviously, there's a lag in the collection of that, and then, of course, the receiving of those funds. So we probably won't get the first set of funds for that till later, mid to later this month. But bottom line, that's normally how that occurs. That comes into the new year. But other than that, everything seems to be on point where it needs to be, and that's all I have for my report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sutton. Our other business and report.
Okay, I want to remind everybody, if you would like to attend tomorrow morning at 8:30, there's a kind of a builders meeting at the Health Hut. I don't know if you've been by there lately, but they pretty much got everything, enclosed. I think from here on out, it's primarily going to be interior work, but it's very impressive looking. It's very beautiful. get a chance, come by around 8:30 tomorrow morning at the job site, and you'll get an update on kind of where they are. So is there anything from the highway department we need to talk about? What about Homeland Security? Yep.
Okay, first off, I sent y'all an email, I think about a week ago, kind of an invitation. Next Thursday, the 23rd, at 8:30 in the morning at the Sheriff's Office, Emergency Operations Center, we're gonna have an after-action review on the October train derailment. Canadian Pacific is, taking over Kansas City Southern, and so they are now wanting to, do this with the local communities and all, so it's gonna be an after-act review. So try to be there at 8:30, and I think they're gonna provide a little breakfast or something, so hope y'all, as many of y'all can make next week, the 23rd, Thursday, the 23rd this year.
And that thing lasts all morning, though.
He talked like it would probably be an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I think the invite had like 8:30 to 12.
Yeah, well, I think,
12:30, something like that.
I hope it don't last that long.
Yeah,
But
I know,
it
I
could,
thought.
who knows?
They gotta feed us lunch too.
People not gonna show up for that, that's that
Big
long,
breakfast.
you know, but anyway.
So anyway, and then the only other thing I was gonna report on is Courtney, Michael, and Kevin and I have been trying to answer a lot of questions over the past week because, as of last Monday, Senator Cassidy's office made an announcement that Lincoln Parish is supposed to get $4 million plus in generator project. I'm sorry, 1,100,000 plus some change in generator project. So, and it was for 17 generators. We're trying to figure out where this was coming from and whatever. Long story short is, it's the same project that I submitted in October of last year, 2023. And it's just part of the process with the congressional leaders and senators and all that, is when there's projects and stuff like this that are being approved by FEMA, they get notification of it. So they go and make an announcement. Now, I have not received the approval on this project yet, formal letter or whatever, FEMA or GOSEP, but that's what we've run into. And so we kept asking questions, and Courtney and the mayor of Ruston and I had a conversation the other morning about the money that was announced last May, that the city of Ruston was getting money for generators. And I did find out this evening from Senator Cassidy's office, Ron Anderson did call me back today. And that's the tornado money. That is the tornado money. Ronnie asked that question, but I couldn't answer it at that time because some of the figures don't exactly line up. But, you know, so between the tornado hazard mitigation money that's coming to the city and the parish, and between the project that I submitted in October of 2023, plus I got 3 other projects in an amendment to that 2023 project, we're gonna be looking at, you know, $3.5 million worth of generators for us all over. So we may, nobody from Energy in here, we may put them out of business. But under the tornado money, I know that the city of Ruston has generators, police jury has generators in that project, school board, Louisiana Tech University, and the village of Shoeburnt. Under the one I submitted last October, Fellowship Water System, Hico Water System, Waterworks District 3, Police Jury, Village of Simsboro, and City of Grambling and Mount Zion Water have projects in that. And the 3 amendments are for Duboc, Alabama Water System, and Waterworks District 3, well number 4 got added in that. Any questions?
Who don't have generators then? Who don't have them?
I'd have to go check, but I can tell you that.
Sound like what you're saying, everybody pretty well got them.
Most of our water systems now have them. You're required to have a generator for backup if your water system supports any kind of medical facility.
Most municipalities got them too. Who don't have
Most
them?
of them. Well, Duboc is the only one that does not have a stationary generator at this point, but we have a mobile generator.
Okay.
We can put up there in 30 minutes.
So nobody.
And have it hooked up.
Everybody in good shape.
Pretty good.
That's good. Good job.
Yeah, someone from a TV station called me, and I was like, "You need to call Kip."
She did.
I was like, "I can't answer all those questions. Kip Franklin's the man you need to talk to."
That was her first day on the job.
I know, you might tell her what
Yeah, was it?
Oh, yeah, she, you know, this was little reporters, it was her first day on the job, and so she went to ask me these questions. She said, well, what will the individual citizens be able to do with their generator?
Or would they be able to pick it up? She thought everybody was getting a generator.
And I
my
said,
goodness.
Ain't happening that way. I said, these are to support water systems and sewer systems and municipalities.
That's why I told her, I was like, I can't tell you where they're going, but that's what they're for, and I said, he'll know exactly where everything's going.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go alphabetical order.
All right, any other questions?
Come on, Mr. Jeff.
The weather
Okay.
gonna be bad next week?
Sir?
The weather gonna be bad next week?
Nah,
It's cold at the winter part, yeah.
It's
gonna be
snowing.
cold.
the forecast will
We
change
hadn't
up
had no
and down.
briefings yet, so I hadn't heard anything.
It goes from snow to ice to nothing to this, I mean, every one of my seat changes.
I watch you more than I do the weather game.
Well, I send you what they send me.
Carrie, you got anything you need to report? Maurice? Alex? I think that's all we got, Mr. President.
Have we started construction on the treatment plant yet?
Yes, you wanna kinda give us an update on where we are? I think they've got the majority of it is, you know, in the ground. They've got
All the
that.
concrete structure is in the ground. No piping has been run yet. No components that goes on top of the treatment unit have been installed. The treatment plant itself is in the ground.
Thing on the outside, I think that's all you see.
Anything else from you? Any public comments? Tonight's meeting, anybody? Okay, do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made. All in favor say aye.